Yeah, I'm proud of our team. I think to be a national seed is a tremendous accomplishment. I think a little over 300 teams play baseball, and so to be one of those 8 is awesome and not to be taken for granted. I think we were very deserving, very consistent throughout the regular season, well positioned to play well. We obviously love playing here, so feel good about all those things. I don't really have any thoughts on the draw. If you're one of 64 of 300 playing, then you're a championship caliber team, and that's what we have, in our path, and that's what every team has in their path. So excited to have the opportunity to continue to play baseball, and excited that it's going to be here at the box.
Does the DBU game from a few months ago help out at all?
Feels like a billion years ago, even though it was 2 months ago. It's a great team. Just as you're kind of looking through it, I kind of had it boiled down to about 4 or 5 teams that would come here as a 2 seed. They were one of them, so not really a surprise. They're in the postseason every year, and one of the best programs in America. So, ton of respect. Know they'll be prepared. But I've been in regionals where you may not play somebody that you think you're going to play, and because you didn't win or they won or we won or they didn't, and so. It's a great program, great team, and like I said, that to me is kind of all you're going to see. I think maybe helps a little bit just having a little bit of an eyeball, but the players change day to day, let alone month to month, and that's for any team.
How different are you guys, you feel like, from then till now?
As I said, I think we've been consistent in our approach. I think at different times of the year we've done different things well. We really were swinging the bat well at that time of the year. That was a really good week for us offensively, and we pitched well in that game. And you look at kind of how it went. Connor, Ware, and then Cowan, and then Evans all were key parts of our team, and they threw the ball well that night. I think I was glad they brought up, I could only hear a little bit on the show, but talking about our defense, in particular our infield defense, I think that's something we've brought to the field every game this year. And with the way, those top guys throw the ball for us, and that it gives you a chance to be in every game. And then it just comes down to execution. And, we've been excellent at that at times as well. So I feel good about where we're at relative to that time, and you get tested so much. I feel like we've seen just about everything that we can see.
Just going back to your experiences 2 years ago, just how big of an advantage is it that kind of the road to Omaha has to come through Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I think statistically, obviously, it's an advantage. I like it from it's tournament play, so it's a little bit different routine relative to those things. So I don't think you can draw too much from that. I think I love playing here, love our fans, love how our team this year has played here. So those are all positives. But ultimately, whoever wins or comes out of it will be because they played the best this weekend. So we'll focus on trying to help us be that team.
Well, speaking of that, in those couple of years, I know now is now, but still a handful of guys that was on that team. So how much of maybe an advantage is that, knowing that this team knows what it takes to get there?
Yeah, I think it can be helpful. I think when you look at it, all of the differences, all of those guys are in a little bit different roles than they were at that time. But they've been through the prep before. And, literally, like, I know it sounds silly, but prepared to how to watch the show correctly, to what we're doing today, to you're in the postseason, you stay in the postseason, we're going to have a steak dinner at least once a week, from this point forward. So that's tomorrow night. To what individual needs guys need, because there's like 3 groups of players on our team that need something a little bit different today. So we want to address that for each of them. Tomorrow we'll practice, late morning to kind of simulate, being ready for Friday and a day game. And we'll do the same thing on Wednesday and Thursday. You have the mandated practice times they give you. So coaches have a lot of work to do, playing 3 teams. It's one of the reasons I like the preseason tournament, because it forces you into an exercise where you prepare like you do for the regionals. And so be a good day around here and good week, and having some of those players that have been through that. And last year was a little different, going on the road and coming off of 5 games in 5 days in the SEC tournament. It literally took us 2 days to recover from Hoover, before we could really get going. And by that time, we were on a plane on Wednesday. So it's a lot different than that for sure.
How do you this week approach whether you want to go with Kate or Anthony? Like, are there specific things you're looking for?
Yeah, I have not. I just found out who we were playing, so I have not looked at any of the teams yet. I think when you look at it, though, 2 of them were their league champions or won their conference tournament, and then we know DBU is a great program, and I believe they won the regular season title in Conference USA. So, it's 3 caliber championship teams. So we'll look at that and decide what we're going to do. Don't ask me for the rest of the week because we won't announce a starter for Friday, and it's everybody knows that.
Jaden's a possibility too.
Like I said, we won't announce a starter for Friday until Friday.
Has your perspective on the last 15 innings or so with the offense changed at all now? You've gotten the chance to sort of look back at the tape.
Yeah, I think it's a new season now, and I think there's different challenges that come at you throughout the year, like going on the road 2 weeks in a row. At Auburn, this was the second of those weekends, was our biggest challenge, our biggest struggle, like I said, of this team that played very consistently. And this was kind of like one of those weeks because we went to South Carolina. We decided to come home, which I believe was the right decision, and then bust over there. So I think there's a lot of elements in play, and I'll credit our opponent. They threw the ball really, really well, and a lot better than. It's clear to see why they're a national seed too at 10. So I would give a lot of credit to the opponent, and we just need to keep working and doing better. And the good thing about that is I think it's the first time we were shut out. You guys would know that better than me.
Yeah.
We've had games where maybe we haven't been as good and then rebounded. I remember we beat Mississippi State 2-1 in game 2 and then scored 17 the next night. We scored 13 against Arkansas, which wasn't that long ago, 7 and 8 on the road in the last SEC series. So I don't think it's anything that we haven't seen or haven't had to do. And as much as it's frustrating, like the SEC forces you into that. 8 regional hosts. I don't know how many of them we played. It's just a different animal. And luckily, the positive side of that is you go through those things so you know how to come out the other side of them. And it's literally just kind of doing what we do and getting back to work mentally. Like I said the other day, I thought it was a great question that you asked about, is it a holistic thing in my words, or is it, to me, it's like kind of guy by guy. And, I mentioned doing what each player needs to do today. That's kind of the focus of today. Kind of starting on that and get going forward as a complete and new reset.
Go ahead.
Would you have tried to get Kaysen and Zach in if you'd have played a third game, and since they having a layoff, what do you do with them this week?
Yeah, they are bullpenning today, and it's the most important thing that needs to be done today. I was okay with them not throwing this week because I thought they carried a big load for us during the season. And had we got into extra innings on Saturday, which was possible, I told Josh Pearson to hit a homer when he pinch hit. It's great coaching advice. We probably would have gone to one of them had we tied the game and gone into extra innings. There would have been no scenario had we played on Sunday that they would not have thrown. At the same time, with how that game kind of went, there was a thought in the back of my mind that if they did not pitch last weekend, it was not going to be the worst thing in the world. And those are tough decisions you have to make. And it turned out that way. And it's one of those, not hope, but it probably is one of those things that turned out for the best, to be honest with you.
With Chase, Jaden, and Jacob, what made those guys sort of toward the forefront and wanting to get those guys out there?
Yeah, I think they're good. And, I wanted to get Jacob in at South Carolina, and then it was kind of like bad luck. I had him teed up to pitch in every game of that series. He was up in the bullpen in all 3 games. And, that place is so small Like, we just decided, like, I mean, he had a fly ball out. There was a routine fly ball out on Saturday that if that ball would have been hit at South Carolina, it might have just landed over the fence. So we went with a different option, left-handed with Cooper. Chase sinks the ball a little bit, so we decided to do that instead. It wasn't anything to do with Jacob because he's done a great job in improving, and he made himself a lot of money on Saturday, I'll tell you that. And really excited about the improvement he's had, and really proud of him for that. His last 4 or 5 outings have been really good.
Is
Yeah,
it just
with
command? Like, what's been the
Yeah, I mean, he's not easy to hit, and he's throwing it where he wants to.
With those three, with Cooper, with Maverick, kind of being able to really show you guys something, I guess,
Yeah.
down the stretch of this season, how good do you feel about your bullpen depth heading into the
I feel
postseason?
great about it. I feel like this is one of the best pitching staffs in the country, and I don't feel like, other than the 2 guys, that it's kind of talked about that way. And I only believe that just because of, again, yeah, maybe Auburn has played the same schedule we have, or Tennessee has played the same schedule we have, or Ole Miss has played the same schedule we have. Like, you just get tested, and a guy like Maverick, coming in at this place at night against Tennessee is a little different than throwing high school baseball in Massachusetts. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, and the more you get them out there, the better that they do. And Cooper, same thing. Williams, same thing. Kaysen, same thing. He's obviously been a key part of this thing right from the start, but I feel really good about it. One of the things that our team, I know, draws confidence from is we're going to be in just about every game that we play. I don't know how many blowout losses that we've had. I can think of one off the top of my head. Maybe it's more than that, but that's because we have a lot of guys capable on the mound, and our team should draw great confidence from that and play with great confidence because of that.
Last summer, Ethan got surgery like right after the season ended. What were those conversations like to expedite that process? How has that helped him now?
Yeah, it was actually, I wouldn't even use the word expedite. We actually was like, we got to make sure we get this thing right. And so I believed he would be a huge part of our team. Certainly, there's an argument he's our best hitter, So we wanted to do it right. He played through the pain in the season, and he's an incredible human being, incredible toughness. Then it was like, we need to get the surgery quickly. And then I told him, like, we're going to ease into fall baseball. You're not going to run the bases. You're not going to slide. We're not going to put you on defense until you're capable, until you're totally clear. Now, seeing pitches was the first element, and then it's like was layers of like tee, front toss, live BP, machine into live at bats to hit in a game. And I thought we did a good job taking that slowly and putting him in a position to be in a position to be successful this year, and he certainly has been.
Have you seen that before, that 1 year improvement you can make after a surgery like that?
Yeah, I think I always had him tabbed as a guy that was going to be a great player here. And I mean, it's one of you guys probably have it on record. As a freshman, I was talking about that. It just, like, he was just on one of the best teams ever as a freshman. Like, that's it. And then last year he got hurt, and it kind of pinched us into a little bit of a trap with kind of the roster we had. About it wasn't as easy as it seemed to just get him the opportunities because he could only DH. He couldn't play in the field. So, I mean, credit to him. And development happens at different times. I'd say his is only just due to circumstance.
With the quality of pitching that we've seen in the conference, have you had to adjust your offensive approach at all?
Good question. I think in its form, there's a few staples that will not change ever. I think the variety of what you see, there's a little bit different that you have to do from a visual standpoint, or a make a choice is what I would call it, standpoint, in terms of what you are willing to cover. Because, if you're looking for everything, you can't hit anything. And there's some guys that force you into some tough choices, and they're going to win sometimes. And, even like Cade Townsend, that guy's going to be really, really good. New pitching coach at Ole Miss has done a really good job. And, he's really developed. That's a guy I'm sure we'll see on Friday night for them next year. And I'm sure they'll use him in this postseason. And then the relievers are really good. So as an example, and they were completely different than what you see from Texas A&M. I mean, Fresh Corn came in on Friday night. He didn't even throw in the series against us. And, like, I don't know if the dude's draft eligible, but after that, he'll be drafted. You know, literally that one performance there in Hoover. So, yeah, it's a wave coming at you. And if you look at the whole tournament, and I think maybe the exception would be the Tennessee-Alabama game, those runs were hard to come by. And they kind of have been the back half of the league for a lot of teams that are on that board and that are playing at home. And it's just the nature of what pitching is versus hitting has this accelerated pitching development greater than hitting development. And it's the type of skill that both of them are. I don't know that it's ever going to be like, okay, now the hitters are going to really catch back up.
Coach, what's your thoughts on 8 league national seeds?
I think that was honestly the minimum. I really believe that. And you don't know it until you live it. And I really feel like I'm educated on this to be able to speak on it because I won 2 super regionals against SEC teams before. And you go like, oh, okay, you know, you can do that. Well, when you do it 10 in a row and then you try to go play in Hoover and you're walking around the hotel and the head coaches and players are, you know, just like trying to get through it almost, like, it's a real deal, you know. It's kind of how I would liken it to, and I have the greatest respect for this program and another, like Boise State football. You know, will upend somebody in like the old BCS game or whatever the New Year's Six bowls. Yeah, exactly. If they had to do it over and over again 10 weeks in a row, it's a different challenge and it's a different animal, and so I think it's very worthy. I mean, there's a team left out of the tournament that I think is capable of winning the national championship. That tells you how tough the league is.
Do you get to pick what time you play Friday?
We put in a bid, and it's part of the bid that we put in. We do not. The TV dictates the time.
Which would you prefer?
As far as like day or night?
First, yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends, and it's a really good question. Depends on the year, depends on the team, depends on your location. And what I mean by that is in Tucson, Arizona, we played the night game because it was a billion degrees. And you just hope the first 2 teams melt, you know, out there in the sun. Here, I did a lot of research, talked to Skip about what he preferred and had done both. And he had some good advice, I think, with the weather here. When you talk about lightning delays and rain and those types of things, you have to play the games in order. If you were to get disrupted, you know, having the first one done, whether you won or lost, is probably an advantage for your team. Had some personal experience of that. We played at Louisiana Lafayette, 1 regional at Arizona, and we got the first game in, and we were delayed and got it in, and it was like a thank goodness that we did. Probably helped us win the regional there.
So you're picking the first game?
We're playing the first game, yeah.
Right. Or that's already done?
It's already done,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
And like I said, it's rest, advantage whether you win or you lose. I've had another experience when I was at San Diego. We were a national seed, and we played the night game, and we lost. And you turned around and you had to play immediately, like it felt like immediately, like right after that. And we lost again, and it was like in 24 hours, this like unbelievably magical season like went away. And that always stuck with me. But I think it depends. I would just say I've done my homework on what I believe is best, and we're doing what I believe is best.
Are the steak nights, were those only in the postseason?
Oh yeah. We had one in Hoover, and then we'll have one here, and then if we win, we'll have another one next week. And then when we get to Omaha, we'll land the plane and we'll go right to the steakhouse.
Well, I was going to ask, is it true that the steaks taste better in the state of Nebraska?
Oh, that's 1,000% true. Yeah.
Same place?
Yep.
The Drover?
No.
Oh.
I'm not revealing locations. Like those guys earned that time. They're not allowing you guys to show up for those.
Drover's really good though.
That's what I've heard. I've actually never gone.
Never been.
I've never been. Yeah.
But you do
I don't do much there to everybody's surprise, other than try to win.
Do you do the same steak place here, though?
Yes, we do. Yeah. No, we have 2 that we do. We have 2. We have a preseason one, and then we have a postseason one. Yeah.
What's the choice of cut of steak?
That's a good question. I like New York. and medium.
What do you gotta do this week? What's the focus?
Prepare incredibly well, and then execute our plan well, have the players on the team be in the right frame of mind to play as good as they can. And if we get all of that, then I'm comfortable like surrendering the result with confidence in what the result can and will be.
Why is this team national championship caliber?
Well, I think the game of baseball doesn't change. People that play it change sometimes. When I mention consistency, it may not feel like it when you lose a game that, maybe you shouldn't lose or people think that you shouldn't lose, but their ability to respond to that, not be complacent when they've been successful. Like, I have confidence in the mindset of the team. I think pitching, we have obviously those two guys have gotten talked about, and as they should, rightfully so. But if you look at the emergence of a number of other pitchers on the staff, our pitching staff gives us tremendous ability to be in every game that we play. They're supported by outstanding defense. I don't know if this is still true, but somebody told me we were top 10 nationally in defense or fielding percentage. So you have two elements, complementing each other. And offensively, I think we've been challenged with so much good competition that, again, we're prepared for what we will see. And if to do what you asked or said, you're probably going to see somebody that you've seen already. And that's the good thing about surviving, I think I called it like the Royal Rumble, of 11 weeks. You're prepared. Like last year, we played one of the best teams in the country outside the league, and hey man, they got a 2-strike hit, and they got us by a run. But I was very comfortable with how that team competed in that environment, and that experience, should help this experience, going forward. So those would be the reasons that I would say.
Speaking of Cade and Anthony, obviously they pitched well for you all year. What have you liked about maybe how they're pitching at the end of the season going into the postseason?
Well, I think they're both really good pitchers in terms of their stuff. I think their ability to hold their stuff deep into outings and deep into the season because of the work that they do outside of the mound. You're talking about two really, really good athletes. I've mentioned this about Cade. If I let him be a position player, I feel like he would crack his way into the lineup as an outfielder on this team. I really do. But obviously, good decision to let him focus on that. I'm sure the Nationals and the Mariners or somebody's going to be really happy that I chose to not do that. And then with Anthony, he's really put together. You're talking about a guy that really gets after it. Like if he walked into the football building, you would go like, yep, that's an LSU football player. And so I think their physical conditioning, allowing them to hold their stuff in outings and through the season, is a big separator for both of them.
Anthony said he had to practice the run from the bullpen to the mound. Did you know he had to remind himself how to do that?
Oh yeah. And he's a competitor and he's very confident. I think I said this before, but I told him he wiggled out of he's the best pitcher of getting out of jams I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's just mental toughness and ability. But I told him, hey, I'm going to make a mound visit while you're warming up in the bullpen so I don't have to do it in the first inning. And he's been electric right from the start of the game since I said that to him. And all the credit to him. Great competitor.
With Jacob's delivery, it just seems like he's much more smoother than he was at the beginning of the year. What do you sort of credit that to, and how did you guys sort of get in there?
I think time and reps and belief in staying with it, and his self-belief, our belief in him. I mentioned us to get to our best team, he needed to be a part of that, and then showing him how successful he is when he has an aggressive nature to the zone, and when he executes it, it's literally one of the hardest guys in baseball to hit. It wouldn't surprise me of him being one of the fastest guys to the major leagues, in all of college baseball. And like I said, sometimes it happens at different times for guys, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. And the only credit we deserve is believing in him and staying with him and trying to help set him up for that success.
What do you think about the Goon Squad getting their own T-shirts?
Yeah, as I said, I had nothing to do with that. But like they were all going to hit in a row in the 9th inning the other day to try to get something going, and told Josh to hit a homer. I said if he doesn't, that Dalton was standing there. I was like, you hit a homer, and if the bases happened to be loaded with 2 outs, Larson just hit a ball in the gap, and then like let's go back to the hotel. They're just it's a true team, and we've had success with the pinch hitting thing and matching guys up, and how they've approached their attitude about what their role is on that day has been really awesome. And you're talking about a guy who's a hero in a national championship game, and Josh and Dalton was 18 homer guy at a mid-major. Larson started last year, and they're doing what this team needs them to do, which is with a great attitude about it, which is awesome.
We talk about this with opening day, but like freshmen and guys that haven't played in an NCAA tournament game before, how do you kind of prepare them for this specifically?
We had a conversation about that a little bit in Hoover with I think the school year is over, so they're not freshmen anymore in any way, shape, or form. I think, again, this goes back to the game doesn't change, people change. The execution is what matters, and getting them focused on, regardless of circumstance, whether that's regional, Omaha, opening day, midweek, rubber game of an SEC series, it still doesn't change. It's like your ability to be task-oriented in what you need to do. And sometimes guys have to fail to get real understanding about that. And the good part about having challenges, there's not one player on our team that hasn't been challenged this year at some point. You learn how to respond and deal a little bit better. And I feel really prepared about those guys running out there in any scenario.
How about DC? Is this a situation where maybe he hasn't played this much baseball or had to focus this much, for this extended period of time?
Yeah, I think that's all of them. I think there's truth to that. I still think the piece I get from him is the competitor is always going to show up for you. The skill is really high. Again, the degree of difficulty, I think that's just a real thing. And, this happens with really great players is they perform so well for so long, they almost create an unmeetable bar, for themselves and maybe grind through a little of that mentally and physically. I think this is coming at a good time. This rest is coming at a good time, for him and for a few guys. And I don't think the length of the season will be anywhere near his mind, come Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys. Great coverage.